And welcome back. Picking up where we left off last time in Songs of Six. Trying to use rest homes to get just that little bit more fulfillment, because retirement is actually, in fact, quite powerful from a fulfillment standpoint. And my humans are refusing to retire. Slight problem. Slight problem. I can't get them to retire. I can't get the bonus from retirement homes. Um, that's all I gotta say about it. If I can't get them to retire, I can't get the bonus from retirement homes. We'll build another retirement home, and I'll probably at this point just crank the retirement age down to the minimum. If that's not working, then I guess my humans are just not that old, which is maybe a little concerning. The average age of my humans is only 23. I think the humans live to be 80. So what's 60% of 80? Well, we're waiting for this rest home to build. I'll do that math. $48. Yeah, so we wouldn't retire half the population, but I don't want to retire half the population anyway. I don't have a good idea for what the appropriate retirement age is for our people, but I suspect we might not actually get the full retirement bonus here because our people might literally not be old enough in this town, which is almost a concerning thought to think of. Okay, from a slavery standpoint, everyone but the Amivians are submissive enough to take more slaves in. Yeah. We're waiting for the city to grow, and I'm trying to think about how I can get everyone loyal enough that I can get that population up. 104% loyalty, so we're at least a place where I'm happy for the normal growth on the humans. Our workers without choice have arrived. So I do not feel in a bad position for having more people retire. So let's try to lower the human retirement age so we can get actual more of them to retire. No, that's probably more than I wanted. Although we'll see if they actually retire. Yeah, that's working. That's generating enough happiness that we can actually multiply that up into some real loyalty. Okay, not super comfortable there. Well, the big just below 100 isn't going to be too much of a problem. The Mavian population dropping back low. Expected drop below 100 again. Just to massivate another batch. It's a combination of the bad teachings and the species modifier on slavery. I think exiling your slaves is probably not a good solution to punishing them. Kind of depletes the number of slaves. Oh, and we have reached the point where if I expand the slaves very much more, we will have reduced guard power effects on them. Okay. That's not necessarily immediately a problem. Let's continue to grow the guard then a little bit. Train the guard up a little bit more. Oh, that might be the other thing, is some of them might be guard members. That might be why they're not retiring. So in theory, that should be enough to get it to full. At this point, we're reaching the point where we're like, yeah, we're just everyone retired. Everyone that's like 40 or older is retired. Doesn't necessarily mean everyone's actually going to a retirement home. That's what we're running into right now. Well, the current retirement homes are full. I need to get these two built out. Not mod job or negative because I retired too many people. Okay. Raptors. Keep them around at the cost of a health penalty, or we can get rid of them for one-off in meat, which is what we're going to do. And the emissary's been in for a while, so let's try to do that diplomacy. Get these guys to chillax a little bit. The whole inspiring unrest in my subjects. That's probably not enough. Okay, that'll probably do it. We got some more trade relations going on. That'll hopefully help stabilize up the prices. Captives are arriving. Making sure I should actually assign education to the maximums. Fine, you're fine. You're getting a little low. Fine. You've just been an ongoing problem, so emancipate some more of you. The bad teachings aren't helping. You're fine. A little low on those ones, but that's probably fine for more to come in. Yeah, the humans are really fine. Although I'm tempted to just emancipate a bunch of humans to free up more plebeians. I think we'll break 12k before I free up people that way. Make sure that it's plebeians and not anyone. Okay, so yearly report's fine, trust is fine, trust is fine, trust is fine. We're a little bit low, but you are what you are. Trust is fine, trust is fine, trust is fine. Raise yours. Oops. Oh, I still have them in from the last time, do I? Yeah. I might not be able to keep them happy. Let's set them to 0 for the moment. Oh, these two people are probably not liking that I'm enslaving people. Of their race, that's not helping. Yeah. We got these guys up to 150, so we can negotiate a trade deal. Which is sort of helping. Yeah, I think we don't bore those guys. Okay, so there's my caravan on the way in. It's not here yet, obviously. Okay, so I've got rest home space for 600 people, ideally humans. In theory, I have the retirement age set so that we should have enough retirees. Doesn't mean they're retiring. That's a different problem. We'll just crank the retirement to max. And they'll retire or they won't retire. So the Mivians are next on the retirement list. Let's get them a retirement home in their neighborhood. Near their neighborhood. Okay, prisoners haven't arrived yet. Yeah, when we break 12k with plebeians plus slaves, if we don't trigger it, I might start doing things like freeing slaves to get this loyalty number. Well, to take advantage of this loyalty number being high. So basically move them off of one accounting ledger back onto the other. And then potentially just continue to backfill. Yeah, loyalty except for everyone except for the Mivians is appearing to hold relatively well. Marines can do it, a little bit of improvement. They're really getting a bit grumpy with the number of slaves of their own race. Suppose that's also an argument just to give them retirement as well. Give them a retirement community of their own. They don't presumably need very many. Anyway, I don't think we're using this stone mine here. I don't think it's gonna happen. Although, that's one of the reasons why I can't basically give up any territory. It's because if we started giving up territory, I'd very rapidly run into a thing of, well, I'm getting all the rare strategic resources from the territories. So if I handed it away, the Empire would collapse. Because the city would be unable to support itself very rapidly, I suspect. Second, I have 13 administration, which isn't really enough for anything. I do have 102 knowledge. That's got some uses. How's the health looking? Pretty bad. It's going into health. So that our people can all live, hopefully, long enough to be retirees. Set retirement age to minimum, and we still can't get the retirement system full of humans. That is a new problem to me. Almost cleared out both sites. Sure, that's actually more retirement facility than I think I need for the Mivians entirely. Yeah, because they only want 100 retirees. Let's actually start retiring them then. Or trying to. Might run into the same problem where the Mivians are all just too young. Expected retirees. 2. Can you give me a few more than that, please? %. Retirement age. 100% reduction in the retirement age. Estimated retiree 73. Requirement to get maximum retirement bonus 103. I think the average age of my settlement is a little young. Just a little young. Not waiting for another load, right? Trip. Yeah. Okay, time to get the next match coming in from a different empire. Okay, let's start sorting out retirement for the Dondorians. Hopefully the Dondorians are a little bit older. Oh, the Dondorians are also longer lived, so... It would also like 152. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get them 152. Yep, well, that's the entire retiree population, 132. They want 152. They might not get 152. That might not be achievable. Although they're much more willing to retire. That's working out decently well. Okay. Received our unwilling workforce? No, not yet. Let some of the Garthimi retire. Maybe 170 retired, which is for 386 is actually quite a lot of them, but okay, so if they actually all retire as predicted, I don't have to tell everyone below their equivalent of 48 to retire, or 48 and above to retire. Almost there. 99% of them. And I am waiting for that trade coming. Yeah. There it comes down the river. Ethereum over 12k, so it presumably is 12k plebeians and not 12k total pop. So that means I need to get another 3,000 actual free people. Although with 12k in the city, that seems believable. That seems doable. I have to try to keep everyone from revolting while liberating the slave population at that point. So that's pretty believable as a doable thing. You know, if that's the plan, let's just start doing it. You. All the mimics. You're having submission problems with slaves. You're all free. That didn't work. Mean it. You're all free. Well, let's emancipate every last slave at the same time. Mimians. Oh. Well, that's, awkward. Apparently, you can't emancipate the children. Yes, that's awkward. It's just a little awkward. Okay, so for the moment, let's... Yeah, we're gonna automate emancipation if population's above 0. So if the children ever grow up, we're freeing them. Because apparently I can't free children. Okay. Declining, expect to be below 100, which isn't quite ideal. might engage in a little bit of bribery. Oh, because we also got mild weather, so yeah. I think we're gonna I think we're gonna hit 12k here because I'm gonna engage in the magic trick of we're gonna free the population and bribe them to be loyal and happy. Which is not how you normally run a stable city. Some of these guys are now calming down, though, enslaving their people. In fact, buying them out for liberation is probably a plus. Oh, that's what's going on. Slaves that are actively imprisoned cannot be, freed as well. Okay, so pardon them. And now that they're pardoned, they can be liberated. Population, plebeians is about the right amount. We'll let these, the group I just paid for come in, and I'll liberate them to the population. We'll bribe the population happy. We'll take the highest level here, and then I will probably call it for the night and call it for the run, because this is a city that at this point is probably unstable. Probably very unstable. Yeah, so we're waiting for the slaves to arrive. No, pardon them. Oh, they're being part of them. In fact, let's check them all. So, okay, that's loyalty producing, loyalty producing. If it's loyalty producing, we'll leave it on slavery. Yeah, it is at this point because of the strength of the guard force. Okay. There we go. Asta Invicti. Over 12k plebeians. Loyalty over 100%. Submission over 100% because, you know, freeing all the slaves makes or freeing most of the slaves makes what remains quite submissive. For they hope for their turn. 20 more noble promotions, 200 more innovation, 200 more knowledge. All of 6 has come together and acknowledged you as the new Asta Invicti. Title hails from the myth of the one who unifies all 6 and defeats the Amignon himself. Told such a great title is the greatest honor in all 6. There we go. Is there any other titles I want to pick up before we bring this run to a close? Hospitals to 100%. We've done that a couple times, so there must be slightly glitch because something's got to be not mathing on that because we've hit that multiple times. Entertainer is gonna require more knowledge than I've got. Probably not worth hanging around long enough to get that. First of their name, we're on the wrong map type. Or mod and drunkard, we're not going to bother with because those require much food or drink. Executions, we haven't murdered that many people. Herdsman of Entelodons. Requires more tiles of Entelodon. Provider, homestead map. Pick those 2 up already. Pick these 2 up, and we're actually running them. Pleasurer would require us to run massage parlors, which is absolutely tank health right now. We're not making money, so King of Kings is not going to be a good option. Wrong climate for that, wrong climate for that. Ruler of Kings, wrong map type for that. We're not going to get up that. We don't have that much knowledge. Metropoli. No, I would have to get a lot of admin for that. And again, I don't think the city's stable enough to expand in that way. Conqueror, if we were doing Warlord, we would have been good. So it's the wrong map type for that. Did the Great, did the Mad. I could do... We could watch the city explode. I could deny everyone their clothes, and that would trigger pretty quickly, I think. Invasions 1, slaves. We never got up to 3k slaves. I've never got up to 3k slaves. Gotta have a very special city, I think, to get up to 3k slaves. The Usurper, the Undefeated, the Wise, get education up to 80%. I think you gotta grow a lot slower than I'm doing to get education up to 80%. Okay, so, in the concept of potentially allowing the city to maybe restabilize, maybe I come back in here and try to get the city stable. I'm not so sure how that's going to work with the neighbors that are getting somewhat grumpy over the concept of me enslaving a bunch of people, but put those back up so they stop immediately liberating everyone the moment they come through. We'll do a quick save here. I'm doing the save here because I think picking up nudist might cause the city to, or attempting to pick up nudist might cause the city to explode. Which is the only title that we don't have that I think is worth maybe trying for. It's basically just turn all the clothes off. As soon as all the clothes gets put away, we'll pick up the achievement. And I could do on the slaves as well. But yeah, I hope you have been enjoying. If you've watched the entire run at this point, or if you're watching live on Twitch, this has, at least the ending here has been a little interesting in how sort of I kind of cheesed getting 12k plebeians. The city was from a free man standpoint, definitely reaching the point where it's starting to stagnate. And the fact that I set retirement to 100% and I can't get enough retiree humans is maybe an idea of showing you what's probably wrong with the city. Can't get the people to live long enough to retire. 55% of the retirement target with 100% retirement. I think there's something wrong with how the city is being operated. But yeah, we managed to get Asta Invicti. This is the first time I've got Asta Invicti, which is why it was kind of the targeted goal for this run. Next run, I think I'll try to do it probably with one race and not 6. That'll probably be the plan. Okay, waiting for them to put their clothes back. Because if you set the clothes down as they literally will, not necessarily particularly fast, but they will take their clothes off and go put it back in the warehouse. We're not waiting for it to wear out, we're literally waiting for them to put it away. Which is why if you watch the clothing here, you're seeing it's going up. It should be going down 22, 23 per day, but it's going up. And that is them literally unclothing themselves because we've told them to. So I suppose the one question is going to be: is the city going to explode first, or is or are they actually going to be able to get the clothes put away? Yeah, that was an interesting attempt at trying to run all 6 races at the same time. There's definitely some micromanagement issues. The easiest way I can do that is probably click on a house. So every yellow building is a building that has workers that live in it, or that, well, I suppose in this case might literally be living in it, that work in it, but can't find a house within a given distance of them to live in. In this case, I've grown the city so much it might actually be to the fact that there's not any housing. But there's definitely been parts and times in the city where it's like, there's people over here in a Mivian town that might be working like the food stall. Well, there's no bias to who works the food stall, so that person might not be an Amivian, and thus has no housing nearby. And there's a reason there is no housing nearby, because if I left them having housing nearby, there'd be brawls. The brawling system could be both communicated a little bit better. There's always a problem you hear on the Reddit. The brawling system, like what's the rules for the brawling system? Why are they brawling? Blah blah blah. So that can be communicated a little bit better in the game. The other thing is, because ops auto-assign themselves to jobs, it's really hard to segregate the service workers. It's really easy to segregate the specific industries, like the fisheries. You can just say, yeah, only Mivians work in the fisheries. Or only Mivians work in the Glubnine pastures. That's easy to do. Same sort of thing with grain farms and the mines. But the service industries, which are all over the place, if you don't have a pop that you're comfortable sending into a service industry area, or into an area to do the service industries, you can definitely get into situations where, like, well, now you just have to accept some portion of your population that's homeless, because if you have a human, in this case, if I had a human working in any of the industries over here, to keep them from having brawls between them and the Mivians, I can't have any human homes over here. And when you've got 6 races, you can't min-max it. You can't micro it that much. It's not comfortable to micro that much. You can I've gone and pretty much got away with doing it with the Dendorian human Cretonian before. Well, that was the previous patch. I feel like, well, although it got nerfed because the children were brawling, and the children I don't think were intended to brawl. So the developer moved that one. Or the developer moved that one. But I feel like brawling got worse in version 71. As we're kind of letting the game here play. The city is stable enough that I should just be able to ignore it while they get unclothed. And we can see the access demand is dipping as their clothing is either wearing out, or they're putting it away. And yeah, they're not very fast at putting it away. But they are, in fact, putting it away slowly, because I've told them not to wear any clothes. We'll see if we can pick up nudist here before we run out of things to talk about as I'm doing the review of the channel, or the review of the city here. Because yeah, this is where the city is going to end. It's a big city. There's definitely things I could do differently, do better. This is my first time going maximalist. Everyone in the city, maximalist slavery. Tyranny is new in this edition, so I tried to do maximalist tyranny. We still don't have enough guard power to be tyrannical to the free pops, the non-slave pops. It takes a lot of guard power. I've got about half of what we need. Now, if you get guard power equals target, then you could. I think you can run all of these as some sort of like harsh punishment to run like full tyranny state. We're not there, obviously, on this one. Although I am apparently there where I could be running exile instead of pardon. So we could be running a little bit more tyrannical than we are right now. Not much, I suspect. And yeah, that's the guard power playing into effect there. Slaves don't have as many punishments, so unless you want to be decreasing your slave population, you still have to be fairly light-handed from a tyranny standpoint on the slaves. Although I suppose you could just set it up to the slaves are all execute, right? Slaves commit crime, slave dies, right? Although I have 100% guard power, and we're still being told, hey, the setting to execute is not going to actually lower or raise submission on the slaves. In fact, the disrespect one isn't working here. Although it says it would be if I just wanted to set to exile. There's degrees of effectiveness there. I suppose I could turn it up and do execute or harvest or something like that. Definitely things I could be doing better. The food stockpiling is being a bit of an issue. Although the food stockpiling is an issue because I'm divided over so many different types of food. That's getting shipped all over the place. And it's not like we're out of food. Like there's a food day constantly in the system. Oh, actually, at this point with this city size, we are slated to run out of food. So that's a different problem. The city was... The city is becoming progressively more and more unstable, more and more unwieldy as I'm taking it at 12k. Although the city's probably rich enough, I could probably import food to keep the city going with actual money. If I futzed around and picked up enough admin... Right, if I picked up enough admin to pick up Empire 1.5, oh, and that's something I hypothetically could do, right? We can come in here and go like, yep, you're getting promotions. You're getting promotions. Yeah, if I picked up the Empire tech that allows me to do Metropoli, I have, I think, enough government power to pick up like 6 of them? 6 more. Yeah, so I could have 6 more Metropoli. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 new cities up at Metropoli tier. And then I could just have food coming from there. So if I thought it was worth continuing playing from 12k here, because this is where I'm going to bring the stream to bring the run to a close. That's probably what we'd do. That'd be the next thing we'd do is we just try to stomach through enough admin. Struggle bus enough admin through that we can pick up Empire 1.5 here from Metropolis. We make our 6 Metropoli. All the Metropoli just start bringing in food. More food for the capital. Because that would be another 110 workforce per location. So every place I've put the irrigation, for example, that's going to be 2 more food buildings I can max out. So 1,000 more food. Well, almost 2,000 more food per city, 6 more cities, so 12,000 more food. Like, yeah, we're running a food deficit right now, but I could fix that. Wait, that's fixable. That's very fixable. Or we could continue doing what we're doing right now, which is I could just be bribing people. Have some money. We've got money. Okay, they're loyal for the moment. You need more loyalty. Have some money. I'm somewhat surprised that nudist hasn't triggered yet. Oh, the nudist hasn't triggered probably because I haven't put their clothes away yet. They still have too much clothes on them. Yeah. It takes a surprising amount of time to put a city's worth of clothes away. At this point, they probably might actually not be putting it away any faster because they might not have any place to put it. And of course, we're having this problem. I'm not sure if it's intended, because it wasn't in previous ones. The traders definitely seem a little bit more prone to just dump stuff on the floor at the throne, instead of your warehouses or your import depots or your haulers or whatever. But yeah, so this is old downtown. This is where we started off the run. Obviously next to the throne room. Then I sort of expanded. Well, we do the grain down here. This is the antelope pasture, so we didn't run out of livestock early on. We sort of expanded eastward. Again, this was the first run I ran as much multicultural as I did. Was the brawl. The one I started trying to bring people in, I wasn't expecting the brawls to be that bad. The brawls were bad. But that was also before the patch that disabled children brawling. So literally, the proverbial street gangs of children were murdering each other, which I didn't realize was what was happening at the time either. So that got fixed. Well, that got fixed in two ways. That got fixed because it got patched out, the children brawling. And the other thing that got fixed, or that I fixed, was I realized, yeah, we can't have everyone living together. First thing to do, we've got the grain farms here. Let's shove the Kryptonians south of the grain farms, right? Because they want to work the farms, the humans want to work the farms. Till one lived on one side, till one they live on the other side. That works. That worked well. So that got one group out. Then we went north and went like, oh, we kind of have a mine, or we're thinking about potentially mining up here. We did mine a little bit. The mine's turned off, but we did mine a little bit. Let's shove the Garthimi up there. The Garthimi got shoved out, so that reduced the brawling a little bit. And then across the river, well, initially it was on the island, but eventually we pushed it all the way across the river. Let's send the Namibians across the river, and they can do all the fishing on the river, and then egg farming on the far side, and that worked reasonably well. That got the brawls down more. We could kick the Tilapia out to the southeast, so they could work on woodcutters and pasture farming, and that brought the brawls down. For the longest time, we were still having brawls between the I think it was between the humans and the Dondorians. I think it was the humans on the Dondorians was what was actually happening there. Right, because the humans have like a 75% preference to Dondorians. In previous patches, that was enough that they wouldn't brawl, but on this patch, it's not. It's not at all. Although that was, you'd have like a 1 or 2 brawls a day, like 1 or 2 deaths from brawls a day, and that, if you're running immigration strats, is workable. You can work with that. So we were working with that for a while. So for the longest time, the middle of the town, middle of the city here was just mixed humans and Dondorians. So before I split the Dondorians off into their own neighborhood, we did do a second Kryptonian one up north. Because my plan was to probably start farming the rich soil up here. But honestly, I just started running out of workforce. It's because I have to have so much assigned to the guard for the guard to be worth it. That I didn't really have a workforce to farm up here. And the Empire was bringing in so much food that it's like, yeah, I could do more grain farming. Do I need more grain? No, I don't need more grain. Also, we eventually tech maxed the grain, right? So the grain is maxed on tech. If we didn't have an empire to rule over, we'd probably turn the nobilities on to get an extra tier from the nobilities. Right, there's more that we could get there. Faction provides? I don't know. There's more additives in here that there weren't in there before. Not sure what faction is for grain farms. Is that like a religious faction or something? That might be religious faction. Although 6 seems a bit high for religion. I don't know where that 6 is coming in from on the faction there, but tools, experience, so we could definitely put more people in grain farming and get even more out of it. Grain farming is definitely productive. But again, because I'm running 6 races, min-maxing an industry that's definitely like this is the Cotonian industry space up here. We've got more space for the Cotonians to do more farming, and then you do grain into bread and beer on them. Like that's what you do. Humans, you do grain into bread, and you do probably want to still do fiber. You do the fiber crop, and then you do clothing. But yeah, at some point I decided the brawling was too much. So we moved the Dondorians out around where the Sicilian mine was. So we've got this planned mine that I never built. If we were getting into worship, actual worship, we would have probably built it because we need not this tier, but the next tier. I think we need the Sicilian for the shrines and for the major temple, Sicilian. So that is something that probably would have been worth actually building and operating just for the operation of the major temple. Oh, and we got regions that can be upgraded, so definitely could do stuff with the government points here to just bring in more food. Although the city, even though I suppose actually, I don't have enough to feed the city on 3.5 food servings, but I have enough to feed the city. We'd have to find the health from someplace else. Again, that's another problem being up at 12k is its health isn't difficult. They nerfed food. Version 71 nerfed food servings. At this point, I think for 12k on a temperate map, I think you're basically forced into doing everything you can for health. Tech, food servings, food preference, bathhouse, wells, laboratories, physicians. You basically can't do massage parlors because it's a it's a health malice. Because you just need to do that to keep your health up, and you can see even here we're not keeping it up. And there isn't much more I can get for food servings. We're getting 1.79 from food servings. That caps out at 2. Previous patches that capped out at 4. So previous patches we'd be fine because we'd have enough health. This patch you definitely need to do the investment in technology to hit 12k. Although actually, how much off am I? Okay, so you'd probably be fine without the technology on hot climates or cold climates. I think in temperate right now the health is a little overtuned, or the sickness is a little overtuned because you can't get the health high enough without the tech. Yeah, that's a minor nitpick on the current patch balance. I'd probably argue from a health standpoint, other than physicians, you should be able to probably shortchange one option, whether it's tech or the bathhouses or the food servings. You should be able to probably reduce something. It's a little too tight on temperate. Whereas if you're, because of the 50% bonus from being hot or cold, if you're in hot or cold climate, you can do that because you've got that bonus. Maybe you could use with one more health bonus somewhere. And again, it would be pretty small. Only max out like 1.5 would probably do it. Doesn't need to be much. So the nerfing food from 4 is probably deserved. Nerfing it to 2 is probably too strong. Probably too much. So this is what I'd probably say. And we're still waiting for the nudist to happen. Yeah. Guard power. Hindsight, there's probably stuff I could have done to improve guard power a little bit sooner. And if I did it sooner, we could have built the city around it a little bit more. And I think the solution to buffing guard power is with our training grounds, we're running a maximum training bonus right now, so we can train our guys really fast. It's basically training the entire garrison to max skill. And or get more equipment, right? So I'm running max spears on most of the units. In fact, I could distribute a few more spears. But so you can see here, this is basically a fully trained guy. It's 174 for 50. Dying of old age, that's interesting. If you just give them the spears, they get... And this is a unit that's 4 times bigger. You get about 284? Right, so that's just showing you the training difference. And training is just training grounds and freeing up the people to train for that period of time, right? So you can definitely, if you keep the city smaller for longer and grow a little bit slower, you can run fewer higher quality units to get that value, right? So if you multiply this by 4, that's looking 500 for 200, whereas this guy's got no training. He's minimally trained, and given the weapons, he's got basically half the value. And definitely if I were to do it differently, that'd probably be what I aim. I'd aim for maximally trained people. And if we were going for tyranny, maximally trained people with maximum equipment. That would also give us more raid security so the bandits would leave us alone. Because we reached the point where the bandits, 4.4k soldiers, we're not fighting that. We're not fighting that at all. Although with that maximally trained army, that would fight that. Right, that maximally trained guard force would probably actually fight that. The stuff I've got here is just too weak, too under-equipped. And the defense is obviously not enough to scare them off. And you can see here possible surprise attack. So the possible surprise attack is the fact that I don't have control of the regional neighborhood. And usually you don't have control of the regional neighborhood, I find, unless you think you can just take your neighbors. Which again, if you're going for a tyranny play, and this is why I don't think I can go for my neighbors, right? Almost 4k on a neighbor, so I would need to basically be able to fight the raiders, in which case, why wouldn't I want them to attack me? Right? If you can fight the raiders, you fight the raiders. We could take these guys. This one we can take on. We can take that one on. That one's a little bit big, but yeah, definitely things we can do differently. Anyway, everyone's starting to get a little grumpy because I've been taking the clothing away from them. I'll bribe them temporarily back into being loyal. We don't have too many problems while we're waiting for nudist to kick in. Again, I think we're rich enough that I could definitely temporarily stabilize the city because we're rich. And our slave count is going back up because most of the people are on. If you commit a crime, you get enslaved. So the slave population is going to grow, and the main population will shrink probably a little bit. So that effect is it transfers back into being slaves. And yeah, basically just giving our guys enough time to put their clothes away so we can pick up the achievement while I'll sort of do a review here. And yeah, so, and then tech-wise, was doing grain this map. So most of everything else that isn't grain was being imported most of it at least. So we maxed out the grain. Was really close to maxing out. In fact, here at the end, I could max. We could max out the bakery, and then do wood oven excellence. Actually, one thing I will do is we'll max that out. So because I want to see what this does. That's probably enough to see what that does. So in theory, that means the wood ovens use less. So is it less wood, or is it less grain? I think it's less both. Six times 7.3 times 6.8 divided by... Yeah, so it is less grain. Is in fact less grain. Oh, that's good to know. Less grain, less bread. So in theory, I've just gone ahead and... well, actually, I haven't necessarily boosted the bakery very much with that, because that's this button, which I don't have the machinery for. But because I now have less input, we could run more bakeries. Thing to remember for the future. And technically I did that on you. So you're using, yeah, you're using like a quarter less paper. And then you can do that also on the ration maker. The ration maker actually has a lot, for the recipe that I'm running, which is just the bread one, has a lot of levels. You could really crank that one up to get the bread consumption for rations down. Did I actually get around to investing in... No, so that would be another thing, another line to go down if I was doing a little bit more of a focused tyranny play, would be to run down the rations so you can have a larger field army. Run down the rations, run down... rations, furniture if you're running makeshift weapons. Or if you're not running makeshift weapons, run down the smithy so you can do like Falcata's shield, Falcata full plate. Clothing. Is clothing not on this tab? Or am I missing it? Clothing's not on this tab, is it? So there's the weaving, which I suppose you'd probably want to min-max that as well. Oh, there's the clothing. Yeah, you probably want to run down clothing. You'd be tempted to run down clothing as well. Especially if you're doing leather armor. Because then you do leather armor excellence so that you use less leather armor. If you're doing tyranny, you can probably get away with a lot less in this tree than even I was running. You're probably, again, on temperate maps, you probably need to run the medicine in the current balance. So you probably need to go all the way down here. It used to be physician... I think physician healthcare was also more expensive, but yeah, I think physician healthcare was more expensive because these were rolled into it. These are now out separate. I think collectively it's more expensive, but now that it's broken out, you can nickel and dime it a little more. Physician, you probably definitely need to run both of those, and if you're running both of those, or if you need more than just both of those, you're probably looking at medicine research, which means you have to pick up the hospital ones, even if you don't want that one, because that's required for that one. This tree really hasn't changed. I think the prices may have changed, and pillar sculptures got merged. That's the big difference in this tree. Big difference in here is there's only the 2 library text to improve libraries. Once you've done that, you've maxed libraries out. I think there used to be... I feel like there used to be a way to use paper in the libraries as well. And then there was the combined lab library tech, which is now just the science 1.3 here, which is laboratories only. Although you probably, in a city where you're not so spread out over everything, you probably spend more in innovation anyway, because you want to probably, for every major production line you're doing, you probably want to run the whole way down the line, right? Especially because you want things like wood oven excellence and well, you want your wood of an excellence equivalent, right? So if you're exporting bread, wood of an excellence, or coal of an excellence, depending on whether you're doing coal or wood. And I suppose, yeah, I suppose if you're running coal, this is the better one. Although there's fewer levels on that, so I debate if coal is actually better than wood anymore. If you're going to run deep enough to get to wood oven with these choices, this is probably the better one. Spoilers. Because there's more decreases on here, so you get to decrease the grain cost more, which is probably what you care about more than the wood/coal. Again, if you're exporting booze, not booze techs. If you're doing charcoal, you probably don't want to do charcoal. You probably want to import coal or mine coal. Smelter, you got the improved smelter. Like you want to get all the way down, and then when you get to the end, there's a little bit of knowledge. And I suppose the entire time I've been sitting here, the city's probably been paused, right? So we haven't been progressing the thing I've been trying to do. Which is achieve nudist status. Get below 0.05. We're mostly there. And then, yeah, out on the world map, if I remember how we expanded, we were here, Poonj. We were surrounded on all four sides by factions. Most of them, I think I specifically picked the weakest ones. This was the weakest one. We took the weakest one over. Behind the weakest one was two free territories, and the free territories had a little bit of land between them, behind them. Before I was able to go past this place, this one fell to these guys. I think these guys just trespassed through someone else to do it. Then I came up here, we took that one over, took these two over. That was our expansion for a while. And then Narcola collapsed, freeing up, I think these, well, it might have actually been those two, freeing up territory, so we expanded into the territory. Then someone else collapsed over here, so we took the territory up down here. We at one point had here, and here, and here, and then I did something over here, or, oh no, I head over here. We ended up the war with the one province miner over here. And I didn't realize to deal with this guy, I had to trespass on this guy. So I trespassed on that guy, pissed him off. And I didn't really have a save to revert to. So I realized the best way out of that was to give away territory, basically sell territory to people. And that worked reasonably well. And the territory was mostly marginal from my perspective anyway. So that wasn't a big problem. It was a problem, but it wasn't a big problem. And yeah, that was the game. I'm sort of rambling on here, trying to do a review of how the run went, as I try to pick up nudist here. I think we're almost there. Yeah, I don't think my for whatever reason I don't think my game appreciates going 250% speed. I was trying to get it to go the max speed just to get it out a little bit quicker, and no dice going. And you know, between the fact that I can bribe them, apparently this is a reasonably stable city. Right, we're waiting for the slave population to grow. Technically, I suppose I should hire or should recruit more slaves to fix the odd jobber issue. Like, that would be a thing to do to fix problems. Or if I am bribing them, I should just lower the retirement age again, or raise the retirement age again, so we can get the odd jobbers back. Yeah. But yeah, so this was definitely an interesting run, and it was definitely a successful run. In as far as getting to Asta Invicti. was not, again, not as successful at being tyrannical as I was hoping. The sort of thematic I was going for was, and originally we were doing it right. Effectively, humans. I was going to have, yeah, we were gonna punish them if they were breaking the law. We were going to be a tyrant after all. But we were going to sort of do like, oh yeah, the humans are free, and then everyone else, if they break a law or murder anyone, gets enslaved. And by doing that, drive the brawl right now. Because you don't have brawling between free and enslaved pops. The problem that happened with that, and actually in hindsight, probably the way I should have actually done it, because I let people migrate in and was planning on being tyrannical to them to enslave them, effectively. But people don't commit crimes if they're happy in this game at the moment. At least until you have a large number of them. The bigger the population, the less lawful people are. So if you get a big enough population, they'll commit crimes even if they're happy. But the opposite is also true. If you're small enough, you need them to actually be unhappy for them to commit any crimes. With one exception, which is the game does not consider brawling a crime. So to get pops that wouldn't brawl, I needed them to be unhappy enough that they wouldn't migrate into the city. And get them punished for a crime they're not going to commit because the population is low and they're not happy, so they're not migrating to the city. Hindsight being 2020, I should have gone by the method of you buy captives and I release the captives and then they'll save system. If I actually wanted an enslaved minority or an enslaved underclass ruled over by the humans, that would have been the way to do it, because the humans wouldn't have brawled with the slaves wouldn't have brawled with the humans, and then I could just have everyone living together in the same housing blocks, and it would have simplified housing. And then we wouldn't have had 1.7k unhoused people. So that's one of the reasons I'm bringing this to a close, is because if I really want to get the flavor and the juice of this run, I really need to start over. Hindsight 2020, I have done things wrong that could be done better. I know they could be done better, and that's maybe not surprising. Every time you play this game, if you're really paying attention, you will learn that you've done things differently. 510 soldiers. So this is a situation where he's not bringing enough to scare me. The garrison can handle it. No, you're getting told no. We might go out on a fight here. Instead, we'll see how long it takes for him to show up, / how long it takes for everyone to become a nudist. Oh, and one thing I can maybe do to discourage him from showing up is move the army back to the capital. The reason being is then that would give us more of a garrison. Bribe people to be happy. Bribe people to be well, I say happy. Bribe people to be loyal. Happiness and loyalty are two different things in this game, right? Especially on this patch. Yeah. So, basically playing out here to see if we can pick up nudist just before we bring the stream to close. And I need to get it below an average of 0.05, so we're down to 0.07, so we're getting close. We're getting real close. So that one, the Nidorians are good. The Garthemes are good. Almost there on the Mivians. But yeah, so I hope, regardless of where you watched this run, whether it's live on YouTube or on Twitch, that you've enjoyed the run, enjoyed watching me do things wrong, maybe watching me do things right occasionally. I know people have occasionally asked questions, and I've done what I can to answer those questions correctly as we've been going through. And I know early in the stream there's questions about sort of weapons pros and cons. My read on it is spears make up your line. Swords are your anti-light armored people. So people who are wearing either just bad armor or leather or no armor, hit them with the swords. If they're wearing the good heavy plate armor, hit them with the hammers. Right, so that's your standard trifecta of weapons. That's what you do. The big two-handed swords are just bigger swords for doing flank attacks, because if you can get into break the enemy's formation and just sort of hack them to bits, it works real well. Horses the war beasts are for sort of maneuver warfare, getting around behind the enemy and hitting them in the rear. They have charge bonuses as well. Must prepare for attack. Okay, that's fine. We're prepared. And yep, we're gonna have a fight here. I did not get the fight, or I did not get the nudist before the fight here. We'll have a quick fight. This should be a fairly easy fight. We outnumber them. Outnumber them by a lot. This will be real easy. So we got this big block. They got that little block. Archers. Armored archers. One block of proper melee troops. Okay. Those are our most trained troops. Besides the archers. Flip the archers and something like that. And then the rest of them are just sort of big blocks of... I still got the professional troops here? Are the professional troops? I have the professional troops here. Ooh, okay. I have more quality troops than I was expecting. Well, I should have expected it, but I wasn't expecting it. Okay, so probably the professionals don't run the archers down. And then the rest is mainly, I suppose, here for moral support. Because they may or may not have weapons. Okay. Yeah, we outnumber them by quite a bit here. So the enemy, right from ready, set, go, numbers penalty. Big numbers penalty. I'm basically going to envelop them, so they're going to feel surrounded, they're going to have their flanks compromised, they're going to have a bad day. Now, not everything's going to go our way. We're going to take casualties. We're going to take so many casualties. Just pause. Don't move the archers for the moment. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Basically doing full formation, go forward. That's probably enough for the first move order. Anyway, the archer here will just be twanging away. Belay that order because you're advancing too quick. Anyway, at this point we're kind of getting into... Most of the army's here for morale support. Flanks compromised, feeling surrounded, numbers against them. Engaging the archers. Let's bring these guys up. Get a little bit more numerical intimidation on the archers. The archers are the ones that are going to probably really hurt in the long run. I don't deal with them. Anyway, we're not getting away with no casualties. We're taking a lot of casualties. In fact, I would not be surprised if we take 500 casualties taking 500 guys on here. See that unit there's got enemy kills 19, 21. It's going up. They're definitely taking numbers with them. They're definitely in a target-rich environment. And we broke the guys there. One of their units broken. There's another one going. Waiting on the third. It's holding. It's racking up kills. It's up to 100, 120, 160. There it goes. Lost 301 soldiers to defeat 510. So, yeah. With like 510, it's like, yeah, I can handle that. We can handle that. We got enough. We got enough troops. Raider defeated. So a bunch of money in the treasury. Anyway, I think we got 100 something. Oh no, here comes another. Here comes the prisoners. So there had some prisoners in storage apparently. So we're gonna be enslaving them just because I need more jobbers. Worst case scenario, we'll free some of them. Still think we only have like 170, if I'm correct, even though we had more trapped than that. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if I'm enslaving them quickly enough, we'll get a little bit more than 170. There we go. So picked up Nudist. That was what we were kind of waiting for. Title originates from a certain mad despot in the far north. Banning clothes really cuts down on the unproductive lingering outside. With your title, your subjects will do their best, so it does not come to that. Next time we can have more of a speed buff. And yeah, that was what we're going for. So we picked up the Nudist here. Showed off the city can defend itself against reasonable raiders. At this point, we're sort of running into the conundrum of I'm rich enough that we get absolutely large raiders showing up. 4.4k raiders is... I would have to have a near perfect garrison to fight that. And they supposedly get bigger. Most of the time you don't need a garrison that strong. That might even be at the point where it's like, yeah, you want a garrison. If you're building a garrison that strong, you're building it so that you don't have to have an empire. So if people just attack you, just defeat them on the fields outside your capital. But that takes some serious training. That might actually be doable in the current patch if you run a massive, super well trained tyrannical regime. But yeah, this is where we're gonna put the stream in. Twitch chat saying, "Congrats on getting 12k pop. That means you'll keep playing." What goal would be a nice goal to aim for? Well, that was the goal to aim for. So at this point, I think we're bringing this run to a close. I think we'll go ahead and probably change games for the next stream in 4 days. Plus, I've done things that have probably completely destabilized the city, because I can. I'll do a quick save here in case I decide we want to see if we can get the city to be stable, but I think this is where I bring it to a close. Because we made the city go nude here at the end just because we could. Thoughts on this game? Let me think about it. Actually, let's go over the schedule. So if you're watching on YouTube, there'll be a different game up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, let me make sure the ad doesn't come up in the middle of me doing the schedule review for the next couple days. So today was Songs of Six. Tomorrow is going to be Factorio Pranodon's mod. Tuesday is going to be Solar Nations 2. We're probably going to finish up Solar Nations 2 on Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be Solar Expanse. I think Solar Expanse probably has enough left in it that we'll probably have more than one stream. But we're going to continue the Fission All the Way run on Wednesday. I suppose Thursday we will be needing a new game. So if Twitch chat wants to put a suggestion in right now for a game, this would be an appropriate time. While I'm checking through my Steam library on games that I should be playing on stream that I have been putting off to play other games. No, I suppose the last run on Old World didn't go very well, so I should probably do another run of Old World. There's another big patch on Never Second Rome, so we did Never Second Rome. Because of the editing that goes into it, probably an RTS is not a good plan, but I do have a couple RTSs to play on the channel at some point. Distant Worlds 1 or 2. I don't think I have Distant World 1 or 2. To put that on the potential wish list so that I can remember when it goes on sale next time. Apparently there's a solar wave. Go all in solar games. Probably not gonna go all in on solar wave unless it's absolutely free, because I'm well, there's a demo for it. I suppose I could probably play the demo, but I might think about doing the demo for it, but not right now. Oh, another thing I could do is I could do Frostpunk. But yeah. You're saying Old World is fine. I think Old World will be fun. I think I'll do Old World come Thursday. It comes out in August. Yeah. So I could probably do the demo for in fact, I'll put that on the wish list so I can track that. So I think the upcoming schedule is going to be Factorio tomorrow. Tuesday is going to be Solar Nations. Wednesday is going to be Solar Expanse. Thursday is going to probably be Old World. I'll probably be putting up a poll soon for what the next Shadow Empire game will be. I think it's going to be what replaces Solar Nations 2 is going to be Shadow Empire. So that's probably the upcoming 5 different games. Might try to bring Frostpunk 2 back, because they've changed so much in Frostpunk 2 since the last time I run it. And yeah, probably come around to do another game of this if people have been enjoying it. So if you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch, and you've got a suggestion on what you want on the poll for the next run of this, feel free to leave a comment as to that, so I can make sure it gets included on the next poll. So sort of vaguely thematic things that we could potentially do in Songs of Six here. Because other than hitting 12k, I'm mostly semi-theming the runs, just so they're not all the same at this point. But yeah, so at this point I'm going to do the outro for YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch and you've got any comments, now's a good time to leave them before I bring the stream to a close. Until next time, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Get you all in the next part and or stream. And bye for now.